Hi, readers. You all did such a fantastic job on your boxes and bullets activity yesterday. I'm so proud of the work you did. So as you know, we've been learning a lot about text structures and how researchers need to follow when they take notes. It helps them to follow the text structure that the author does. So far we learned about two different text structures, boxes and bullets, which is the same thing as main idea and supporting details, and then also sequential, which is like steps or the order and sequence of something. So today we're going to be doing a little extra practice of the sequential text structure. Okay? So remember, sequential, think of sequencing. It's the order or the steps. It's a fancy word to say you're just listing the order of something that occurs. When you are looking for a sequential text structure, usually there will be keywords like first, next, then, after that, or first, second, third. Maybe there will be diagrams. You usually see this a lot when you're researching animals, especially when they talk about their life cycles. So let's do a practice one together. So as you know, that's distracting. As you know, I am studying frogs and toads. And I was looking at the table of contents thinking, where do I think there would be a sequential text structure? And as I was looking at my table of contents, I did see there is a chapter called The Cycle of Life. So I'm going to look there to page 14 to see if it follows the sequential text structure. And I'm already kind of starting to see that because look, I'm starting to see steps. It's a little hard for you to see, but it says 1, 2, 3. So let me read about it and then try and take my notes in that order. It'll probably help me better understand. So the cycle of life. In the spring and summer, frogs and toads gather in large groups in ponds and streams. These large groups are called breeding choruses. They meet to mate and lay eggs. The eggs grow into adult frogs and toads. The changing and growing from egg to adult is called metamorphosis. These pictures show the metamorphosis of a frog. Okay, so I'm already starting to see an order. They say they meet, they lay eggs, they grow into adult frogs and toads. But let's get more into the details. So it says the male sings or croaks to attract a female. They mate. Females lay hundreds or thousands of eggs in the water. Frogs lay their eggs in clumps. Toads lay them in strings. The eggs are called spawn. I'll just pause so you guys can see. After a few days, look, I already see a keyword, after. After a few days, an egg turns into a tadpole. Tadpoles have long tails and breathe through flaps called gills. They cannot live out of water. The tadpoles soon grow legs. Look, another keyword like soon, like this is happening soon after. They lose their gills and develop lungs for breathing out of water. Their tails get shorter and shorter until they disappear. One day, look, another transition word. One day, an adult frog hops out of the water and onto the land. An adult frog's skin does not grow as the frog's skin grows. Instead, the old skin splits and peels off, leaving a brand new skin underneath. Then the old frog or toad eats its old skin. Ew, I didn't know that. Gross. All right, so boys and girls, this definitely follows a sequential text structure. It is telling you the steps of the cycle of life of a frog or a toad. So remember when we do this, we want to title our notes whatever the topic or subtopic is. Now, this is a little different than main idea. Remember, for main idea, I tell you, don't just state what the topic is. It needs to be an idea. For sequencing, it can be more of a just a topic. So I'm going to call it Life Cycle of Frogs and Toads. So that way, if someone else looked at my notes, they would know what I was talking about. All right, so the first step was the frogs / toads croak and find a mate. Notice how I didn't write every single detail it says in the book. Remember, this is just to help you. Next, they lay, spawn. I'm going to use that special vocabulary word, and I'm going to write eggs in parentheses so I remember. So they lay their eggs or spawn. Then they turn, eggs turn into, and I'm just putting an arrow because again, these are my notes, into a tadpole. And they have long tails and gills. Okay? Next, the tadpoles grow legs and lungs. And they get shorter and shorter. And then finally, the adult frog hops onto land, sheds skin. So, readers, do you see how I was able to follow the text structure here, which was sequential, and take my notes in a sequential order by simply writing the life cycle of frogs and toads? So I took this information from here, put it in my head, and then put it on the post-it in a nice sequencing or steps or order. Again, that's sequential text structure. So let me tell you what your task is going to be today. You are going to do the same thing, but you are going to read about marbles. So in your Google Doc, which will be posted, you are going to read about the history of marbles. You're going to read all about that. And then you're going to take your notes and tell me the steps or the history of marbles. Think, how did they start? How did it move along throughout the years? How did we get to marbles today? So I want to go from like past to present. All right. I cannot wait to see how you follow the text structure of sequential in your own notes. All right, off you go.